Okay, now some of you are probably thinking, John, what is this? This isn't a YouTube poop. I thought you were gonna make another YouTube poop for Halloween. It's called diversity, people. I'm a guy who likes to do different things when it comes to making videos, okay? And secondly, I will make another YouTube poop pretty soon, and it will be focusing around either Ed and Eddie or Sonic Boom, but it's not gonna be for Halloween. It's probably gonna come after Halloween. But with that said, for Halloween, I decided to tackle something a little different, a field that I'm not actually familiar with, and that is the field of video reviews. And seeing how we are approaching Halloween, I decided to make my first review Halloween related. But just what kind of Halloween related media can I possibly review? A video game? A movie? A TV show? Well, sort of. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody here is familiar with that lovable canine known as Scooby Doo. I mean, who isn't familiar with Scooby Doo? He's a childhood icon, an animation icon, and he's probably one of the most memorable cartoon characters alongside other characters such as Bugs Bunny, Mickey Mouse, and so on. And even though most of the series nowadays have either been hit or miss or just completely bad, you can't help but give props that they're actually trying to do something different with the gang. One of these newer ideas included the idea of a Scooby Doo show with a much more darker tone to it. Now, when I ask people what they think is the best incarnation of a dark Scooby-Doo, two things usually come to mind. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island and Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. And I will admit, I love Zombie Island, and as much as I hate to say it, I did kind of enjoy Mystery Incorporated. But when I think of a darker Scooby-Doo, I can't help but feel like they're actually forgetting something. A rather obscure piece of Scooby-Doo media that, in all honesty, did get a bit dark as it proceeded. An obscure piece of media that's simply titled The Scooby Doo Project. Now, for the audience that didn't grow up in the 90s, let me shine a little bit of light on this rather unfamiliar special. 1999 saw the release of the film The Blair Witch Project. It was a huge box office success and is now known as one of the most nostalgic horror films of all time. Then a couple of months later, on October of 1999, Cartoon Network aired a 24-hour Scooby-Doo marathon, and the parody was actually split up across the commercial breaks as little bumps. But at the very end of the marathon, the entire parody was shown for the audience. No breaks, no splitting up of the parts, the entire thing in a short film format. Now, I actually do remember seeing some of those bumps when I was a kid, as well as the marathon itself. But since I was, in fact, a little kid, I had no clue what was going on during the parts. And recently, when I rewatched the special, I was a bit surprised to hear that there was actually some controversy concerning this special. I mean, I get it was a parody of a rated R film, but just what was so controversial about it? Well, this is one mystery that we are certainly going to unmask today. This is the Scooby Doo Project. The special begins with a description / an homage to the original Blair Witch film. I honestly like that. We get the opening title, and then we cut to Velma, who's bringing along a camcorder to record one of their newest mysteries.
That's Scooby-Doo, Red Jones, and Daphne Blake.
Hey, how you doing?
Of course, I want to play myself in the movie version, and that's Norville Rogers.
It's Shaggy! Like nobody calls me Norval.
Honestly, who calls their kid Norval?
What's the matter, Norville?
That's not on tape, is it?
Something wrong, Norville.
Norville.
Very funny. Norval.
Gee, people don't have to be dicks about it. So as you've probably seen, the animation is taking a page out of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Space Jam, and all those other kinds of movies, with the cartoon characters being animated and everything else being live action. I personally like this approach. It gives the special its own unique look to it, and the editing in this special is actually quite superb. It actually makes you feel like the characters are actually there in the real world. Although there are some cases such as this clip here where the characters do appear like they're just cardboard cutouts instead of real people. Bit of a nitpick, but hey, I'll let it slide this time. So the Scooby Gang decide to go into town and start their documentary by interviewing the people in the town over what they think this monster looks like. However, they don't really get anywhere as each townsfolk actually has a different story to it.
Giant radioactive cat over by the nuclear plant.
Have you heard these woods are haunted?
You kids stay away! Those woods are cursed! I never go near them!
Like I bet she never goes near a dentist either.
So eventually, the gang does make it to the woods.
Like these woods don't look like our regular woods. They look different.
What are you talking about?
Like I don't know. things just look more realistic. Yeah, realistic.
At this point, they park the van and decide to go into the woods.
We are now leaving the van and going into the woods.
Hi, Van. Like, why do we have to always do these things when it's almost dark?
This isn't gonna end well.
So the gang thinks it's a good idea to camp out near the graveyard because why not? And of course the usual Scooby Doo shenanigans ensues.
The local legend is that one spooky night in 1773, some local people from the town because of a ghost
I
story.
can't hear you. I can't hear you.
We've got to make sure we put the tent tarp on. Now we're putting the stakes up to hold the tent.
Will you please put the camera down, Velma?
I don't want to miss anything.
Shut it off!
So just as everyone is about to go to sleep, they suddenly hear a strange noise.
What is that?
Let's split up and check it out.
No way, Jose.
Finally somebody gets that never works.
Will someone go out there for a Scooby snack? Somebody! Anybody!
Like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, you heard the hippie. There's no way in hell that they're gonna be going out there with that damn thing running amok.
You know, Scoob, this is the last time I get suckered into looking for a monster. I should be at home watching scary movies, not living in one.
You feel that? You feel the irony there? So as Scooby and Shaggy are investigating the woods, they suddenly hear the mysterious sound yet again. And sure enough...
Like
Wait, back that up a bit. That is the monster. Okay then. So after a good old-fashioned round of...
Scooby Doo! Where are you?
We cut to the next morning where another strange occurrence has happened.
Okay, somebody has piled Scooby snacks in weird little piles outside our tent.
Forget it. They're all yours, Scooby. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Did you trick me? Did you put those there? Scoob, did you trick me? He tricked me.
So at that point, the gang decide to hightail it out of the woods and get back home. Unfortunately, they happen to get lost while doing so.
I need a break. My feet hurt.
Well, is it our fault you wore high heels on a hiking trip? At least I try to look feminine.
Burn!
Yeah, that's another one of the special's high points. The jokes and writing are so hilarious, even for Scooby-Doo standards. I actually found myself laughing at a majority of these jokes. Hell, they even poke fun at some of the series' own tropes.
Give me the map. Like, how can you read this map? It's just a dotted line and an X.
Again, that's just me, but I'm pretty sure that when you watch it, you're gonna find a moment in here that will make you laugh your ass off. So after Scooby and Shaggy eat the map,
With Tabasco. Yeah, Tabasco.
the gang start to worry that they may not ever get home, as they eventually start to get even more frightened and start to lose their cool.
Just remain calm.
You remain calm.
I am calm. You're the ones that aren't calm.
I'm calmer than you.
I'm always calm, man. I'm the calm one. I'm calm.
Oh, sweet Jesus, I don't think I'm gonna be able to look at Fred the same way again.
I ripped my dress and my stockings and I'm broken now.
I lost my scarf. It's my favorite one.
It's your only scarf, you dope! Eventually, the gang come across a house, which also happens to be the source of where all the noises are coming from. So, in typical Scooby-Doo fashion, they decide to go in, no questions asked.
Like, let's go in the haunted house in the middle of the night. Now I know why you're the smart one.
Hello? Hello? Hey, look, a radio.
Maybe we're on the news.
Like, oh no, not music. We always get chased when there's music. What'd I tell
Oh, I hate this part with the doors.
Yeah, I do too. Let's fast forward through this.
Shaggy, what are you doing in the corner?
I'm scared, man. Like, scared.
Oh, but don't you worry, guys. In typical Scooby-Doo fashion, the gang managed to escape, and surely they do unmask the monster. What just happened? They did escape, right? Right?
Scooby van was found beside a dirt road. Search parties have spent several days searching the woods and found hundreds of Scooby snacks, but no trace of the teenage sleuths have been found.
Oh my god, I swear I did not cut anything out. That was the entire short in its entire run. It literally ends with the monster jumping Velma and then leading to the implication that the Mystery Incorporated gang were murdered by the monster. Literally murdered by the... I'm gonna repeat it again, I cannot stress this enough. Literally murdered by the monster. That's not the ending to a Scooby-Doo special. That's the ending to a creepypasta about Scooby-Doo. But there are two things that keep me from going completely bonkers about this. The first bit is that this technically wasn't an official Scooby-Doo episode. It was merely just a promotion for the marathon. So, in actuality, this isn't really canon. And the second thing is that even if it was canon, there actually is a second, much more lighter ending for this special. But it was only shown as a promotional bump.
And the monster is... just some guy.
Untie me, you intrusive kids. Like he didn't say meddling. Doesn't he know the drill?
He used the costume to scare people.
It's Halloween, October 31st, every year. Candy and bobbing for apples. I mean, you guys are dressed up, right?
And that's more in line with the Scooby-Doo formula. That is, until they throw this at you.
Look, why did you scare us at the cemetery last night?
Well, if you didn't do it, then who?
So that was the Scooby Doo Project, and this really caused controversy? I mean, first things first, this was a very, very well done parody. The characters are still as memorable, the style they chose for it was pretty interesting, and the writing, for the most part, was pretty decent. So, why all this talk of controversy? Well, I think the only controversial thing about the special is, of course, the ending. I guess the possibility of Scooby and the gang getting killed left some scars to the audience who actually saw this when it first debuted. But that doesn't make it a bad special. In fact, it's far from that. It did what it set out to do, and it did a damn fine job of doing it. Take my advice, give the special a view, and see for yourself whether you like it or not. It's pretty easy to find on YouTube these days. With all that said, thank you guys for watching my first ever video review. If you actually did like this video, drop a few ideas in the comments below and maybe I might consider doing another review. With that said, this is jm0364 signing off and wishing you all a happy Halloween. See you soon, guys.